All right, well, hello and welcome to a video on how to add in cards that you've learned before and you want to start remembering them again, but you just don't want the workload that they would normally incur, if that makes sense. I'll give this specific example with MCAT cards for people who are in medical school. We've already learned this material pretty well. There's about 5,000 cards in this deck that are suspended. But let's investigate that a little bit more. So let me go to the browse window. I hit B as in boy to get there. Let's go to hashtag Khan Academy, which are the tags for this particular deck. So biochemistry. Let's kind of look through some of these cards and see what's going on. So Sanger sequencing, okay, Western blotting, that's definitely in the step 1 deck that I've been doing. So ketone bodies, okay, I know that. VLDL, that's definitely in the anking step 1 deck. So I've already learned all this stuff. Negative sense RNA, so let's just flip through and keep going. The outer mitochondrial membrane, yep. So these kind of seem like things that we have already learned in our step 1 studies. This whole biochemistry tag, which is consisting of about 900 cards of the 5,000 there, let's not add those because those would be duplicates and we have already learned these for the most part. There may be 1 or 2 cards that we haven't learned in the step 1 deck, but we're trying to reduce the workload a little bit here and have the greatest amount of functional memory or functional content in our memory. Let's go to behavioral. So 1,500 cards here. A ghetto as part of a city, the life course theory. Okay, these are definitely not familiar to me right now, but we haven't covered psychology stuff in our step 1 deck though, so maybe some of these are overlap, but for the most part, these are probably unique. So let's keep these. Let's potentially do those. These biology cards, we've already learned most of those as well in the step 1 deck, so I'm not going to add those. General chemistry, half equivalence point, okay, that's something we definitely didn't cover in the step 1 chemistry stuff. Bronsted-Lowry and the definitions of acids and bases, okay. So I think these are stuff we haven't learned in the medical school step 1 deck, and you know, I would kind of like to be able to recall this information because I spent a good bit of time on it in undergrad trying to learn it. Let's add these as well potentially in the future. OChem is, yeah, these are not in the step 1 deck, and then physics as well. I doubt those are very well covered in the step 1 deck, so we'll add it's about 600 cards here, 500 here, 500 there, so we're at about 1,500, 1,600, and we'll add 1,500 of. So we're about 3,100 total cards that we would like to potentially add to our step 1 studies. So that's a great reduction from about 5,200 in the whole Khan Academy cards here, 5,300. To reduce that down to about 3,100 cards, so it just helps to look through what we've already learned and not be double learning material. But this material is kind of special because we have already been exposed to a lot of this content, and it's probably easier than some of the hard brainstem functions that we've never seen before and have really long names and everything, and that's in the step 1 deck that I'm currently trying to trudge through. So I want to show a cool method of how to potentially add these without creating a huge workload for you. So these 3,000 cards will not be a normal 3,000 card workload, hopefully. So let's start adding them. Let's create a filtered deck. Let's just add some OChem cards here. And then we'll go to create filtered deck. And is new. I might need to start unsuspending some cards here. It may not work, but we'll just add 100 here and build. Okay, so that's not going to add anything because it wants cards that are unsuspended. So let's go back to the OChem deck here and unsuspend about 20 of them or so. Whoops. Let's do Command J, and then let's do the filter deck again. And is new. I think you have to put that in there. Then hit build. All right, there we go. Okay, now I pulled out some cards that we had unsuspended there. All right, I'll show you kind of how I go through them. All right, in cation exchange chromatography, the beads are blank charge, and this causes blank charge proteins to last. Okay, so this is not a very familiar concept for me. I do not remember this very well. So I'm going to go through here and answer them normally. So I would just hit enter or something, or I got this wrong, so beads are negatively charged. All right, so I'd hit again, so J on my keyboard, which is the again shortcut for me. Charge. Their affinity, okay. It's been a while since I've covered this. Okay, so again, that's why we learned that 1 step at a time. Made of liquid. Nope. All right, so these are kind of harder cards. Okay, distillation, I know this. or boiling points. Okay, so this is a pretty easy card. So I don't want to just keep answering this on the normal schedule, which is going to be about tomorrow. Then I'm going to answer it again in 3 days, and then I think 7 days, and so on. So let's speed this thing up a little bit. So I'm going to hit the shortcut R. And if you have the rememorize add-on for Anki, which is like one of the best add-ons ever made, it'll pull this up for you. I think you might need the customized keyboard shortcut add-on. If you have the anking add-on bundle that's from their website and it lets you download, this R shortcut will work. It'll take you here, and then, so -7 means that it will move the card. It won't change any of its scheduling, or it won't change its ease factor or anything, and it'll just move it 7 days in the future. It's kind of like you were to reposition it to the next day, but since that's not the next day, but 7 days. So it's not going to change anything about the card. It'll just change when it's due. However, we can just hit delete and then 7, and that will actually change its interval as well. So instead of it being due tomorrow, if I had hit good, it's now going to be due in 7 days. The next time I answer it in 7 days from now, it'll be due like probably like 10 or 14 days. And then it'll keep going from there instead of starting from 1 day, 3 day, which it would normally be on. So this will reduce your workload quite a bit. And the shortcut makes it quite easy to just bust through a lot of cards this way. So this card was kind of easy, and then you can kind of gauge what interval you want. So if it was really easy, let's go to like 21. Boom. And just keep going. Boiling points are, okay, I don't remember the specific degrees Celsius. Okay, that was a hard one. Okay, that's not too hard, so let's move that in the future. Got that one pretty easy, so let's do 30. Boom. So that that greatly enhances its movement along the track of its interval. This is not a good idea to do with cards that you don't know very well. But with cards that you just kind of need a reminder for and still want to be able to command, then I think this is a great method. So yeah, this is pretty easy. 21. Did not get that one. So the hard ones, you just act like normal and they'll add to your workload in a normal way. The easy ones, you can send off in the future. So this is a way to kind of learn material a little bit quicker if you're pressed on time, because in medical school and in a lot of different academic settings, time is one of your most valuable resources. So if you're looking for a medical school, Boonshot School of Medicine, best ever.